I hope you watched the previous video. There we have seen analytical processing databases. That is, so whenever we choose to use a real-time example of cab delivery system, cab booking system, there while booking a cab, they need to store our data. That is by using analytical, they need to store our data and process our data, right? So in order to process our data, they need to store in some storage. That storage is SQL storage or structured storage or schema based storage. So we have seen whatever the storage types available based on storing. If you store row based data or column based data, AWS provides you RDS for row based data storage, and for column based storage, AWS provides you Redshift and Redshift serverless. I hope you watched these things. And now let us see about non-relational. Let us see on the type of the type how our storage will storing in our database. So based on storage storing type, these analytical processing or structured data or schema based data is categorized into two ways: row based storage and column based storage. In this structured data, we store our data in the form of tables. So there is a way to store this row-based data in AWS, that is RDS. RDS is a service which is provided by AWS where you can able to store row-based data. If you see you want to store your data in the form of columns, then we have Redshift and Redshift serverless to store column-based storage. This column-based storage will provide you fast responses and consistent responses compared to this RDS, that is row-based storage. Then next, let us see about transaction processing. So if you see about transaction processing, under this transaction processing, which type of data will maintain? Will maintain unstructured data and schemaless databases. Now, in order to query that data, what type of databases we use? In order to store these type of unstructured or schemaless or transaction processing data, which type of database we choose? NoSQL databases, right? Yes. So when do we use these NoSQL databases? We use these NoSQL databases for non-relational databases. Non-relational database. For relational databases, we use this SQL database. Okay. So to store these unstructured or schemaless data or transition processing data, this is a real-time example. We use this NoSQL database. So coming to storage type, under structured data or SQL data storing, we store that data in the form of tables. Whereas here in unstructured data, your data will be stored in different formats. Other than only tables, you can even store your data in the form of graph database or else document database also. So here you can store your data in the form of tables as well as graph and documents also. That means not only SQL, you can store also other type of data storing types as well. So if you see about table databases, table type storing types, you can see two databases available, two database types available. That is key value database and wide column database, wide column stores. You can store your tables in NoSQL in the form of key value databases or wide column stores. Or else if you require to store other formats, then you have graph related databases available and document related databases available to you. So based on your need, you need to prefer these type of databases. So based on storage storing type, these NoSQL databases are classified into these four types. That is key value based database and wide column stores and graph databases and document database. So if you see under key value database, AWS, so to store in the format of key value databases, AWS provides you two ways. One way is by using DynamoDB and one way is by using Redis. And if you want to store your data in the form of graph database, then AWS provides you a way, that is Neptune. Neptune service, you can able to store your data in the form of graphs, nodes, and edges. If you want to store your data in the form of document database, that is in the form of JSON or BSON, AWS will provide you a database. The name of the database is document DB. By using that document DB, we can even able to store our data under this document database format. At last, you have wide column storage, right? So you can store your data in the form of wide column storage stores in AWS service. That is what key spaces. So storing is done. So this transaction processing data is stored successfully, or else you can say unstructured or schemaless data are stored in NoSQL databases successfully by using these AWS services. In which format? In these type of storing data format. Okay. Now, after storing, we even need to process our data, right? Yes. So how to process our data, which is stored under DynamoDB? In order to process your data, which is stored under DynamoDB, you use particle, particular, particular language, particular query language, which is SQL compatible version only. You can query your DynamoDB by using that data. Or else if you want to query your DynamoDB by using any programming language, then it is also possible for us to query this DynamoDB. Coming to Redis, it's a in-memory cache. We cannot query this directly by using any SQL programming language. We can query this by using any SDKs or any one of the commands. You can able to query this. So here in Redis, it has its own set of commands and data structures that allows you to interact with the data stored in this database. It does not support with traditional SQL query language for data retrieval or manipulation. Redis supports processing through command line interface or by using any SDK programming languages like Python, Java, JavaScript, other. You can even use some operational commands for processing this Redis. Coming to graph database, that is Neptune. So if you store your data under this Neptune, you can able to process by using this Germlin or Sparkle. If you store your data under DynamoDB, this DynamoDB is a MongoDB compatible version. So you can process your data which is stored in the form in DynamoDB in the form of JSON or BSON by using this MongoDB queries. At last, you have wide column storages. In this wide column storages, you have Amazon key spaces. AWS will provide you Amazon key spaces to store your data in the form of wide column storages. So you can able to query the data which is stored under this key spaces by using SQL, that is Apache Cassandra query language. So your data will be stored under databases in these following ways. So based on your choice, you need to store in any one of these. So let's recap the whole thing with a short period. So if you want to store your data, so let's say you're having a cab company. Let's say you are the owner of Ola or Uber. Now, how you will maintain your user data or transaction processing data? So you will maintain your user analytical processing data in the form of some structure or schema based by using SQL databases. In AWS will provide us some databases to store these databases based on our storage type. If you want to store your data of this analytical processing or structured data or schema based data in tables in row based format, then use this RDS. If you want to store your data in column based storage, then use this Redshift or Redshift serverless. This Redshift serverless will provide me a flexibility of does not providing the underlying infrastructure. In this Redshift, you need to provide your underlying infrastructure. That is the major difference between these two. Whereas coming to storing your traditional processing data, that is unstructured data, that is if user provide a transaction, the data will be in unstructured data format or schema-less data format. That is, we can say the data as the data may contain varying fields like while transaction your data, you can see an option called description. If you provide the description, then that extra data will be added. So there is no schema for it. Even you cannot provide the description and send the money also, your transaction will be processed. So in order to store those type of transaction processing data, we can use NoSQL databases in real-time scenarios. So we want to store this NoSQL data in AWS. So in order to store this NoSQL data indicates not only SQL, that is nothing but you can able to store SQL data, that is a very structured data as well as unstructured data as well in this unstructured databases. So coming to structured data, you will store in the form of tables, right? So for those tables, you can store in the form of key value based databases and wide column stores. So if you want to store in any one of the database formats, that is table format, then choose DynamoDB or AWS key spaces to store the data. If you want to store your data in the form of graph, that is in the form of nodes and edges, then choose this graph database, that is Neptune. This is one of the AWS database service which provides you to store graph related databases. And if you want to store the JSON related data, you can see all the API calls will move on with JSON data. So in order to process that application data in the form of JSON, it will be easy to process that data and you got the response very faster. So in order to store your data in the form of JSON, you can use document DB database. Document database. That is nothing but document DB, you call in short it as. So in order to store these type of database, we use document DB service in AWS. So in order to query, so we just stored our data under NoSQL databases based on storage storing type provided by AWS based on the services. Now we just stored, we want to process the data which is stored under your databases. You can process your data which is stored under your database DynamoDB by using partiQL, that is SQL compatible version, and you can even process your data by using any SDKs. This Redis is a in-memory cache where you can able to you do not able to process your data by using SQL. You can able to process your data by using some commands or SDK by using any one of the programming languages. And you can see Neptune. You can process the data which is stored under Neptune by using Germlin or Sparkle. If you see about document DB, if you use document DB service to store your data, then you can able to process your data by using MongoDB. And if you store your data in key spaces, then you can able to query your data by using CQL, that is Apache Cassandra query language. If you store your data in RDS, then based on the engine you choose while configuring this RDS, you can able to process your data. If you choose your Redshift, it provides you Postgres SQL variant database query language to process your data. So this is all about your data maintenance in real-time scenario of how to maintain your data. I hope you understood this video and you understood how to maintain your databases in real-time scenarios. So I hope you understood from the previous video analytical processing storages, and this video you observed and analyzed the transition processing data or NoSQL database related databases. So I hope this video is contentful. If you feel this video is contentful, then please like, share, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to get the latest updates. See you back in the next video with another interesting topic. Until then, bye bye guys. Thanks for watching again.